Inflation is coming down and unemployment remains low. The American economy appears to be improving, especially given the tumult of the last several years. But according to Yahoo Finance senior columnist Rick Newman, there are some trends President Biden should be keeping an eye on. He joins us for this week's edition of Bidenomics. What should he be keeping his eye on, sir?
So I maintain the Bidenomics report card for Yahoo Finance. We measure 6 different categories of the economy every month. Manufacturing unemployment is something to pay close attention to. It has flatlined during the last few months. If you look at some indicators of the manufacturing economy, there's what economists are calling a manufacturing recession. These are the indicators we measure Biden on. You can see he's doing great on total employment. I mean, he's a beneficiary of lucky timing. Manufacturing, it looks like he's doing really good there. And what we're doing there is measuring Biden compared with the 7 prior presidents going all the way back to Jimmy Carter at the same point in their term. So Biden's leading all of them in terms of total employment growth. He just got lucky with timing. I mean, he inherited the huge COVID recovery. But watch what's happening in manufacturing, because employment has flatlined there. Production is down, and that is part of what's happening as people just stop buying stuff and they want to buy services, because the COVID pandemic is over, the shutdown's over, people want to go out. But manufacturing is important to the whole economy, so that matters.
So then, Rick, what's Biden's biggest economic weakness then?
It's obviously inflation. And the question is, where is inflation going to be, let's say, a year from now, which is when the 2024 presidential election will really be happening. Now, in the Bidenomics report card, we don't measure inflation directly. We actually developed a methodology on this with some help from Moody's Analytics at the beginning of the Trump administration, when inflation was just not an issue. Nobody was worried about inflation back then. But we do measure earnings as real earnings, which means they are adjusted for inflation. And Biden is doing poorly on that measure as well. I mean, he's second worst among all the presidents we look at. I think the only one for earnings growth, the only one who was worse was George H.W. Bush back in the late 1980s and early 1990s. So Biden's doing very poorly on that because of inflation. So I think those two things, inflation we know is coming down, but is it coming down enough to make people feel better? And I guess the last thing I would add here is messaging. People are just in a foul mood. I mean, we talk about this every time one of the consumer confidence surveys comes out. It's like, wow, people are super bummed out. We knew it was gas prices last year when they hit $5 a gallon, but gas prices are down and people are still bummed out. So we have a great job market for the most part, very low unemployment, but people are not happy. So Biden is not succeeding in getting people to think these are good times.
Yeah, can he run on this economy? And right now the answer appears to be no. It's just interesting hearing Warren Buffett talk about it earlier in the week. He said, it's just man's nature to complain. When you look at the circumstances, we're in awfully good shape.